Hey everyone, my name is Delaina Burns and I'm with you tonight on Live with Prima. I want to create this layout or recreate this layout for you tonight. You can see it is filled with lots of layers, and maybe I don't have enough light. I'm going to pull some more light down. Let's see. Lots of layers here. You see all the layers of flowers and metals and chipboard over here. We got lots of chipboard and more metal and more flowers, and I'm going to do a really quick kind of stenciling technique in the background using some of the Artisan powders. And it's June, so it's Father's Day month. This would be kind of a good masculine page. I used it for a heritage page. These are my great-grandparents, my grandmother, and my great-uncle. So this was actually taken in 1919. One of my very favorite family pictures. We did not find this picture for many years, so it's just really interesting to see my great-grandparents. So I love heritage pages. I am unable to follow the chat, so if anyone needs me, Robbie or Carrie, please text me. Want to go over a couple of announcements real quick. Let me bring those up on my phone. And the next show coming up is going to be Sharon. She will be doing Heaven Sent tags, the beautiful baby collection called Heaven Sent. Her tags are beautiful. If y'all haven't seen them, they're over on the blog. June 7th, 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern time. Adorable, versatile tags for any baby occasion. Also, livewithprima.com has been updated. Check out our site for information on all things Prima. We will be updating it often and adding more fun stuff. So be sure and check that out, livewithprima.com. Be sure to join our fun and inspiring group on Facebook. Search Live with Prima and ask to join. So don't forget about that. Lots of things are posted over there. Lots of Prima work, and all our classes are there. And be sure to check out our classes over on YouTube. You can get all the rewinds there if you missed a class, or if you want to check another class out for a second time. Just be sure and look at us on all our social media places. We are on Pinterest, we are on Instagram, we are on Twitter, we are on Facebook. We are everywhere. Prima is everywhere. So just be sure and check us out. Hey, Carrie. Okay, going to go ahead and get started. So I kind of just showed you the layout. It is super, it's thick, but it's still pretty manageable. It's stacked up kind of high, you can see. But it's still pretty manageable. Just lots of masculine colors, or more of a heritage theme. I colored my photo in Photoshop to kind of match. So I'm going to lay this to the side, or I'm going to kind of actually stand it up. It's been a while since I made this, so I'm going to stand this up here so I can, sorry, give me just 1 second. I'm going to stand that up so I can kind of see what I have done to share that with you. So the first thing I want to do is grab some paper. I used a mix of Archivist and Cartographer, Frank's beautiful collections, and it's pretty, they kind of go together. You can kind of mix and match the pieces. So I've actually changed the layup just a little bit because of lack of having some of the papers. You can see the background here. I used a Archivist paper with the numbers all over it. And I just kind of need that black base in the background. So I'm going to replace that paper with another black paper from the Cartographer collection. So just to kind of let you know, you don't have to do everything exactly the same. You can kind of mix it up, and I'm going to do a little bit of that in this on this page tonight. Just going to kind of change it up a little bit so you can see. You don't always have to do it exactly like I do it, or exactly like the teachers are doing it, or exactly like, we're copying yourself. Just get what you got and keep it in the same color family, and you are good to go. So what I'm going to do is grab my trimmer, And this background piece here, I'm going to keep it 12 by 12. So I'm just going to take off the little selvage area. This particular paper is Cartographer Collection 990008. And the other paper is listed on Facebook. Carrie has the other number as well, from the Archivist collection. You can get that number if you have that collection and want to use it. So just trim your selvage off of that background page. And then this page is from the Cartographer collection as well, number 990053, and this is the original sheet that I used on my layout. What I want to do is remove about 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch off of two sides. So I'm going to remove my selvage first, and I call these little tab selvages. I know they're not called selvages. That is for fabric, but I worked with fabric for so many years, I just call them selvages. So y'all know what I mean. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is take off about 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch off of the bottom here. Doesn't really matter where you remove it from. Turn it around, same thing, take off about 3/4 of an inch. And if you want to be sure you take off the same amount, just kind of lay your little strip there. Because I kind of want this, it doesn't matter if it's perfect. It doesn't have to be an exact whatever. So take that off. If you've got a little too much or not enough, just stick it back in there and take off a little bit more. But that's going to do that. That was a little loud, sorry. Okay, I want to make sure my volume is still okay. Let me know if my volume is having problems. Am I too shadowed up here maybe? I can't tell if it's me or if it's the actual stuff. So just let me know if it's too dark. I can maneuver my lights a little bit. Okay, so you can kind of see we're going to have a little bit of our background showing there. First thing I want to do is ink my edges. So I'm taking some black coal Prima chalk edger, and I'm just going to kind of run this down the edges. I want to cover up that white core on that edge, and I'm going to bring out the black. You could use brown or a dark gray, or you don't have to ink the edges at all. I just kind of like to finish those edges and cover up that white core. So and I knew I was going to leave my glue across the room, so give me 1 second. I'm going to walk 2 steps over here and grab my glue. Okay, sorry about that. I left my glue across the room. I have been making chandeliers and gluing pearls on everything in this house that I can locate. So kind of want more of my distress side of my page to my left. That's sort of the way I'm seeing it, so that's why I turned that around. So I'm going to just turn this over. Love these two collections together though, the Cartographer and the Archivist work very, very, very well together. So either one that you have, if you want to reproduce this page, they work very well together. They mix beautifully with the metals, and a lot of you may have them in your stash. I think Prima still has some of them. If your store does not have them, tell them to get this from Prima. Okay, so that's that. Next thing I'm going to do is we're going to add some stenciling, and I'm going to use 2 different stencils. I'm going to use 960520, 960520, and I did not write the number to this stencil down. This is the smaller version of this one, and I did not write well, not the exact smaller version of this one, but it's a sort of the diamond shape, a little distressed. So we're going to use both of these. We're also going to use some of the Memory Hardware Artisan Powder. I'm going to use the black for this actual stenciling process. So what I want to do is just move my layout over just a little bit. Give me some room on my non-stick pad here. Y'all can kind of see my mats kind of peeking through. I actually got it dirty. It's kind of a mess. I have another one that's spotless that's still in the plastic packaging, but this one's dirty. So no, do not judge. I kept it clean for a long time. Okay, I'm just going to kind of pour some of this out. In fact, I'm going to kind of lift up the little plastic here because I want to get a good bit of that out. And I'm going to just take my little silicone brush here and take some out. Just a few scoops. Probably about that much. This is really black, so this is a little bit of this is going to go a long way. So just be careful when you put that back on. So see, it's all over my hands, and it is really black, so it will get on everything if you are not careful. I'm going to grab a wipe and get that off my hands really quick and just kind of see, it's going to just go everywhere. Then I'm going to take some 3D gloss gel. Carrie, I cannot see the number on this artisan powder. It is too small and my eyes are old. I'm also going to use the 3D gloss gel, and this is number 961367. So what I'm going to do is clean off my little silicone brush. I don't want to transfer this into my 3D gel here. So scoop out a little bit of the 3D gel right here. I don't really know what it's going to, probably doing way too much. That's probably way too much. Let's put some back because we're not going to use a lot. And then I'm just going to mix these together. So just kind of whatever you got to do to get that mixed. Love this artisan powder. It's kind of a matte finish. It's not real shiny, so I am shining it up a little bit with the gloss gel. You could use the matte gel if you don't want to shine at all. The shine on this didn't bother me on the layout, so we are going to do some shine, and I'm just going to continue to mix this, picking it up off of my mat. And I want this really black, and this is looking a little gray to me, so I may add just a little bit more. So let's be sure that's kind of down before you sprinkle. You don't want the top to fall off and it to go pouring completely out. So I just kind of held my finger on top of it. So just mix this in. This gel is going to dry clear, so all of this black is going to show through. It's not going to really mix like white. This is not like mixing it with gesso because the gel is clear. So don't worry about it having a gray look. It's going to be black, but I just wanted a lot of the pigment in there. That's why I added more. Okay, I'm going to start off with my larger stencil, and I just kind of laid it all the way across my page here. I just kind of, it's a 12 by 12 too, so I just kind of made it even with my page. And I know I'm going to add my cluster kind of right across here. So I kind of want to use these little areas here kind of in my mind. I knew where I wanted it. So I'm going to just do a few of these. So just kind of pick you up some of the color, and you've all seen the stenciling done, but I'm going to only do a couple of these little shapes here. So just that one, the one right beside it. And you are welcome to do more of these. I just kind of in my mind, I only wanted a little bit of activity going on in this background. Also, if you look at this stencil, there's some little openings, little distressed openings. It almost looks like, you know, maybe script of some sort. But I just want to kind of hold the stencil down, and I do want to get that script right there and right here. And I'm being a little more particular where I'm putting this on this, just because I kind of balanced my page around using this color. That's a really good idea for when you're using stencils, is to, especially when you're kind of moving the color and you like this white background. I love doing kind of the blank space, but you still need to be sure that you're getting some balance in there with your color. So you're going to kind of see me moving around the page. I'm going to go over here and just get a few of these little areas there, and then I'm going to go down because my cluster is going to kind of go across here. I want to get a few pieces down here. So in this one here, I only want to get about half of this. I want to do a little technique here where I just get about half of that and just kind of drag that down just a little bit right there. And then I'm going to move over here and get this entire little diamond shape here. And I'm not always this particular, but with this, I just wanted to be sure that I got this moved all around. And let's see what else I might want to do here. Let's do one right about here. And this isn't going to end up like exactly like my other one, but I just want to be sure I've got the balance. I'm not so worried about them being in the exact same spot as much as I'm worried about just being sure that I've got some balance all around the page. So grab a little bit of that script there, and then move down and grab a little bit of that there. And you can see that works that color kind of all the way around. Kind of gently lift this away, and you can kind of see what we got. Just a little bit of that there. Am I off camera? We got just a little bit of that there. You kind of see how that's moved around. So what I want to do really quick, because I don't want this to dry and ruin my stencil, I'm going to clean this off a little bit. Let's just take a little bit of this off. It's going to get all over my, because it's black, it's kind of going to go everywhere. So let's just kind of lay that down out of my way. I got a little bit of that off. Then I'm going to grab this smaller stencil, and I'm going to do just a few of these little diamond shapes. So I'm just going to kind of lay this down where I don't want to smear this yet. It's not dry. So let's just kind of line this up, get that as even as possible, and just get a few of these. Get a few of those. I want to do two right about there. I'll just pick this up. Then let's do maybe one right here. About like that. Then we will kind of turn this around. And I'm turning it around because I don't know that I didn't get something on the back there. And I don't want to smear the color. So I'm just going to turn that around. And maybe do one right about there. And that is it. I know I was a little picky about that, but that is it for the stenciling. That's all I'm going to do. I may, in fact, I see one area right down here that I want to do a little bit more, maybe of the script. So I'm going to kind of lay this right about here. I'm not going to let it touch, and I'm going to get a little bit of this little script area right there. Just about like that. And that is it. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is clean up my mess. Let's clean off and the black just is a mess. Seriously, it can be a serious mess. So be sure you're using your non-stick and your wipes. Just wipe that right off of your silicone brush. Love baby wipes. So just wipe that off. I've got some paper towels too. I'm gonna grab this one I've already used and get a good bit of that up. I did way too much, so you can kind of use your discretion as to how much you use. And you can always kind of scoop this up and put it into a container, a sealed container, to save it for another project. That probably would have been very, very nice for me to have done that. But for time's sakes, I'm not going to worry about it. You see, it just goes everywhere. come off. But it does clean up pretty quickly. That is it. I'll get it off my hands because I don't want to spread it all over my project. So I'm going to be sure I got it all off my hands. Let's dry this with a dry paper towel. Still finding some over here. Okay. Scooch that back on the camera, and I wish I could hear y'all. Listen to me. I wish I could read the chat, but I can't. Let's put our lid back on that and grab my dryer. Let's give this a quick dry. Sorry about that in your ear, but I want to give this a really quick dry. What I'm going to do is grab some cardboard because I'm just going to lay here and let that dry, and I'm going to clean off my small stencil while that's drying. Let's just clean this up. This is going to dry and be a mess. The gel, if it dries forever. So I like to get it off. I really like to get it off. And this paper is going to buckle up just a little bit, and then once I'm done drying, I'm going to kind of just bend it back into shape, or you can just kind of bend it as you're going. Drives me crazy when it kind of buckles up, but I don't want to touch it yet. But when it starts to dry, we can turn it over and dry it from the back, and that helps it not to be so bad. Hey, Deb Doodle. Debbie is here. Debbie is my friend from Orlando. Debbie was one of my first scrapbook.com friends. And if you're watching this on record, we have a live chat, so I'm not talking to myself. I'm reading along with the chat. So if you catch us when we're doing this live, you can come on and chat with us. So I kind of like to explain that, because if you are watching this on record, you might think I'm sitting here talking to myself, when in reality I have an audience, a live audience. Okay, so let's see, are we dry? It dries pretty quick, so that's pretty dry. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is kind of hold this down and heat it kind of all over where I see that it's kind of buckling. And then I'm going to just, while it's warm, I'm going to just kind of shape it, help it relax, calm down where I've gotten it a little wet and where I got it a little hot. And by the time I get everything added, it will be flattened right back out. So you can see it's hardly buckled at all now. So on to the layers. This is going to be pretty quick. I hope we're going to do this just as fast as we can. This is full of layers. This layout has tons of layers. So what I want to start off with are some gorgeous fibers. This is Prima's Gypsy cord. This is Esmeralda number 588120, and I love the Gypsy cord. Look at the cord. Look at all these. Look at all these pieces that are in here. I think there are 8 different ones, and they're all a different color scheme, and each one individually is gorgeous. You could pull them apart and use each one. They're great with the fiber art, but they're fabulous on your pages and your cards and any of your projects. So I'm going to grab my real scissors. I have to use real fabric scissors. These are only supposed to be used on fabric. So what I'm going to do is just, and you see I've already cut a few of these pieces out, so I'm not really going to worry about that. I just kind of want to make a circle, kind of like this, to kind of put up under here. It's going to kind of go under my page. So I just want to kind of do that, kind of like that. And I want to cut my tail kind of long because I want to kind of work this around so that my end here is kind of hanging down, but I want this to kind of be out so you can see it pretty good. Kind of like that. And this is not going to be exactly like my other page. They may not lay down identical. That is fine. It doesn't have to be exactly the same. So I just want some of these ends to kind of be visible. So I'm going to pull these out kind of like so. I want to be sure some of the top of my stenciling there is showing. Okay, so kind of like that. And then let's pull those down. I'm going to manipulate those once I've added glue and kind of got these down. So for now, I'm just going to kind of lay that there. Underneath here, I'm going to add a little bit of glue. Just a little bit right there. There's going to be enough glue here before it's over with. This will all be held down. But for now, I just want to be sure that it's kind of going to stay in the vicinity that I put it. And I want to stretch it out kind of wide. So I love these fibers. They do stick to your fingers though once you've added the glue. So, okay, the next thing that I've done is with my photo, you can see with my photo, it is popped up really high. And I've used layers of papers behind, just the different papers. And I layered them using the ATC pad. This is the Cartographer ATC pad. You can also use the Archivist ATC pad, or you could use the 6x6 or scraps of paper or whatever you want to use. I just happen to have the ATC pad available to grab. I knocked off one of my letters. So what I'm going to do is, in my photo, I meant to measure my photo. I'm not going to add a photo to this one, but my photo measures about 2.5 inches by 4 inches. So 4 by 2.5, 2.5 by 4, and I used it on the width. So what I want to do is grab my little ATC cards, and I'm going to grab my little trimmer. I don't want to pull out my big fat trimmer. So I'm going to grab my small photo trimmer here and just kind of measure. Let's grab this one. Now it's not gonna be the exact same ones, but I just want some colors behind. Let's grab that one, and let's grab a black one, and let's grab a lighter one. And let's grab this polka dot one. These all coordinate. They all kind of go together. You just kind of want to pull out your colors and kind of pop them up. So what I want to do is cut these down to about, because these are actually like 4 by 6, I think. And this is not going to measure real well. So I'm changing my mind. And I'm going to grab my For Real trimmer. My For Real big daddy trimmer. So let's cut these down about, say, 4 1/4, or maybe 4 1/2. Let's say 1/4 inch bigger on each side of the photo. Since the photo is 2.5 by, I'm losing my train of thought, 2.5 by 4. So we're going to cut that down to 4 1/2. And then we're going to trim this down to, let's say, 3. So 3 by 4 1/2. That's that. It has a round edge. That doesn't really bother me. If it bothers you, be sure to cut that square. I'm going to leave it. I kind of like it. I'm going to cut all of these about the same size. I like this. I want to keep this on here. I want to keep that pattern on there. So I'm going to flip it around. And this is exactly the way that I scrapbook. I just do it. Just flip it around and just figure it out as I go. If it looks bad, I take it off. If it looks good, I leave it. Or if I like it, I leave it. I don't know that it always looks good, but if I like it, I leave it. Let's do 3. By 4.5. And I'm cutting these all the same size. You could variate the sizes and make them a little bigger, you know, bigger than the others. I'm going to layer these, kind of crisscross them, and just sort of let a little bit of the color peek out. So I want them all the same size. And then my photo is going to be about a 1/2 inch bigger all the way around to kind of sit up on top of them. So that will be that. Okay, throw away. I keep doing that really loud in your ear. I'm sorry. And you see these are going to just kind of sit here, and our fiber's not going to show a ton, but it's going to show. So let's layer these. Let's ink our edges. Grab your ink. And let's ink all the edges first. I want to get rid of those white cores, and I want to keep that black kind of showing through. You could use a pen. I used to use like I don't remember what the pen's called, the flat pens to kind of do my edges. I've seen Frank use the markers, but I just kind of grabbed the chalk edgers and will do that to get the ink on there. They need just a second to dry. So if you let them dry for just a second, they won't smear. Doesn't bother me if they smear a little bit, because I like that black kind of moving around. But if you don't want that to smear, then do give it just a second to dry between. So we got those edges inked. Then I'm going to grab some cardboard. Y'all know cardboard and me are friends. Am I still good on my light? I feel like the light's kind of going. So I'm going to cut through this. This was a box of some sort. Probably a Prima box that came at some point. Just want to kind of cut this up into pieces here. I want to cut me a few pieces ahead so I have them. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just kind of stagger these. Let's see. Let's do them kind of like this. Just kind of like that. Not a lot of this is going to show, but enough will show to kind of accent around the photo. So what I'm going to do first is add a piece of cardboard between this very back piece. This is going to be popped up pretty high because I want to be able to tuck in lots of embellishments. So I'm deliberately adding the cardboard between these pieces too, because I want enough to add lots of flowers. It's going to be lots of layers here. So let's add this piece and offset that. Offset, that's the word I'm looking for. Offset that just a little bit. You see, you barely see it peeking out. But in person, you're going to be able to see the layers really well. So next, I'm going to just kind of offset this one. Just a dab. Doesn't take a lot of glue. I'm using Fabri-Tac, so it's not going to take a lot of glue. Just offset that just a little bit. Just enough that that kind of peeks out. You kind of see it's not peeking out a lot. It's just peeking out a little. I'm moving those rounded edges around some. If you do leave the rounded edges, I'm not putting them all on the same side. So, and again, I'm not adding a photo to this one, but you know my photo was a 1/2 inch smaller. So just want to kind of add that right about there. Just kind of about like that. You can see that's what we got. Next thing I want to do is grab another piece of cardboard. And you'll see on this piece, I'm going to put it between the fibers. I want to kind of move the fibers and add it kind of underneath them. I want kind of a solid surface under there for this to adhere to, because when I add the flowers and all that, I don't want the fibers to slide around and move those. So add that right about there. This is going to be popped up. Okay, then I'm going to add one more piece of cardboard to pop it up a little bit higher, and you're going to see in just a minute how many flowers and metal pieces I add. That is the trick that I have, if there's a trick, if you want to call it a trick, to getting all these layers and keeping your layout pretty flat. Cardboard. You can use pop dots, but cardboard is free. So I say use cardboard. And you just don't want to touch your picture with it. Just be sure to put a piece of cardstock behind your photo. And what we can do is just kind of pull our fibers out, kind of, and place them as we go. But it's going to be kind of like that. And what I think I need is maybe one more piece. I want to do one more piece, and I want to do it a little bigger. Let's cut it. It looks kind of blank back there to me. So let's do one more piece, about a 1/2 inch bigger, rather. So let's do it, say, let's do it 4 3/4, about 1/4 of an inch bigger. 4 3/4 by 3 1/4. I want it just a little bit bigger. And that's only because I just kind of saw that blank space as I was working. So let's ink up the edges. You just want some layers back there, and I just want to be able to have something to tuck my embellishments under. So Fabri-Tac is so forgiving. You can just pull it back off. It's going to string a little bit, but let's add this right about there. I've already got the glue down, so we're going to add that right about there. And then we're going to add this back on top. And that gives us just a little bit more over here. Didn't add a lot, added just enough to kind of make me happy. Okay, so we got that layer. That's all of our layers, and then our photo would be there. So at this point, you would actually add your photo. So you got your layers of paper, you got your stenciling, your 2 different stencils with your artisan powder, your artisan powder. You've got your layers for your matting behind your photo. And now we want to go in with a few pieces of, let's see, let's go in with a few metals and just see what we can do with some metals. I keep metals in these little containers, and I have metals and stuff everywhere. So I'm going to give you a few numbers of some that I used. I used this keyhole, number 892227. Love these. I used one of these, and I think I have one in this bowl. So I used these. I'm just going to give you the numbers really quick. I used the Brads 579333. These are from the Archivist. I used these numbers 960254. These numbers here. I used these fabulous flowers here, these metal trinkets, number 960339. I used these mechanicals here, number 961091, and I've used these on a dozen projects. I just keep these in bags. I keep my leftovers. Over the years, I've just collected these, and you can do that. Just keep all your metals, and you can mix them and match them and make them work for you as well. I used number, let's see, number 960346. This again is the vintage trinkets. And I used these little babies. These are metal embellishments. 583514. Okay, so let's just start kind of layering these, and it's kind of hard to decide because I needed to add some chipboard too, so let me maybe do those at the same time. Can that work? I used the chipboard from the Archivist, but I don't have any left, so I'm going to use the Cartographer chipboard because they match so well. I'm just going to use it. On the original, I used this clock right here from Archivist, and I used this little car here, this old car and this butterfly. So what I'm going to do is replace those with the Cartographer pieces. And I even used a little circle up here in this corner. So, and I just used that kind of for color. I used the chipboard in the pieces to add shapes. I have another little piece of chipboard just under here. It just adds attention more to detail, and it gives you shapes and movement around your page, and that's what I want with all these pieces. I want it tucked in, and I just want texture and movement and just stuff, different textures, metals, flowers, fibers, just tons of things like that. So I'm going to use this little old-timey camera. I'm going to use this kind of old-timey airplane. We're going to use this. I'm not sure exactly what this is. It's got like mechanicals on it. Going to use it like for our top area there. And like I said, originally I used the chipboard from the Archivist collection, but this matches, and you can use this as well. So so we're going to use this this compass here. Instead of the clock, we're going to use the compass. It all makes for an old page, so it all works. And I think that's all that we need. I may come back and use something else, but for now that's all I'm going to use. So what I want to do is just start kind of giving this some shape. I'm building out with the chipboard and the metals to start shaping it. So what I want to do first is ink the edges of my chipboard. I like to ink the edges of all of it. Take off your and I like to powder the backs of my stickers as well, because I'm just going to get this off the edge of my table here. I want the sticky off. So, because I want to glue it down, and I may want to pop it up, and I don't ever always know that. So I just pull off this back piece, add a little powder, just regular baby powder to do away with the sticky. And then I'll add my own glue later. So and if you get some on your page, you can blow it off later. It blows off really, really easy. So just remove these and add some powder. And I know y'all probably all already done that before, but it's just something I still do to get rid of the sticky. Oh, that's funny. Oh, that's because I got the paper. I was going to say that's yellow, not white. Oh, it is yellow. That's weird. You could also just pull off the sticky. You can just tear that completely off. That works too. Whatever you want to do. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just kind of start laying this around, tucking it under, just to get my shapes. Let's ink the edges, because I like to ink all the edges. Add a little glue. This poor glue, I left it open. It always likes to get kind of thick. So we're going to add that right about there. I'm going to add this camera right about here. Just right about there. The airplane, I'm going to pop it up just a little bit. Where did my cardboard go? Going to add a piece of cardboard. And I'm popping it up because I want to stick some things under it and around it. So let's pop it up. Let's glue that down right about here. You know, on the other one I had the old car, and this works well too. It just gives it that, if you want to do a masculine page, it gives you that sort of masculine look with the plane and the old gears and the old camera, and then the compass. Let's pop out his little piece there. And what I'm going to do is add some glue just like to the left side of this. And I'm going to tuck this in between the layers on this here to kind of pop that up and add it right about there. Okay, just about like that. Now what I want to do is go in with some metals. Let's grab, I want to kind of see what's in my bowl. Let's grab this piece right here. We want to add it somewhere, maybe here. And these are all from these packages that I had. I'm going to grab one of these flowers. Sorry about that. He's going to go away. Let's cut out one of these flowers right here. And this is just the fastest way to do this. Just to cut out the one I want. And then the other ones are still intact. So let's remove this one. These are some of my favorites. Love this rose. Love him. So add him there. Right, he's going to be right about there. Got a few more things to poke under there first. I've got a leaf. This is just from my stash. I don't know where this came from, but this is just something that was in my stash. And I had added one on the other layout. So we're going to leave that right about there. We are going to need this little tassel. We're going to have a little tassel right here. So let's go ahead and lay that out. And I've got numbers in here. And I'm going to hold off on the date. But like I have like the number 8 here from the number set. I'm going to hold off on the title till I decide what photo. So we'll hold off on that. But let me grab some flowers now. We're going to use... Archivist flowers. Let's see. We're going to use Archivist number 580476. I hope this doesn't feel real scattered to y'all. This is kind of the way I embellish. You'll see this all kind of come together. I just kind of pull out. Once I get some shape going on, I pull out my flowers and my other stuff and just start kind of placing it. Archivist flowers as well, number 580452. These beautiful small ones, these are my favorites. 580506. So we are going to use these flowers. So let's begin with our larger, flatter flowers. I always begin with the larger flowers. Kind of tuck those in the flat areas. Be sure to keep your color moving. So we want to kind of balance it. Let's actually lay our metals right here for the time being. So once I knew kind of what metals I was going to use, then I can start building my shape with my flowers now. So what we want to do is add a few in this corner. And what we want to do is keep the color, like I said, keep the color moving. We've got this kind of caramely color here in our fibers. We've got this caramely color here. So I want to kind of tuck these in here. And I'm going to tuck them in between the layers. What I'm going to do is kind of lift these papers up. Tuck that one right about there. Lift this up all the way to the bottom. And kind of tuck that one in right about there. Just kind of push them in. And I'm getting glue all over my fingers. Of course I am. Just kind of tuck that in. And your fibers are just going to kind of move around. That's okay. You can kind of go back in a minute and work with those if you don't like where they end up. But we're going to put that one right about there. And then I want to keep that kind of laid down. I want to add another one, kind of maybe this color over here, I think. We want to add it kind of under our compass here, right about there. Just about like that. And I think that's kind of all I want to do. I want to get a larger flower. I need a little bit bigger. Let's see, did I bring one out? Maybe I didn't bring one out. I want to use something in this area to kind of build that up. So I've got these from the Archivist, but I've got them mixed up. I don't know what colors these are. These are just some that are in my stash, and these are all Archivist. I just kind of bag them once I only have a few left. So don't do those. Let's do these from Cartographer. Let's just grab a few of these typed roses. These are a little bit bigger. This is number 574543. Let's use maybe that one and that one. Use kind of the darker ones because I need this built up right here. These are not going to show a lot, but I just need this area to be kind of built up for the pieces that I'm going to put on the top. So add that like right about there. Just about like that. Just kind of keep your fibers laying down. Right about like that. Then what I want to do is I've got these vials here that I want to add. And the one thing I did not get out is the sticker that goes on it. I did not pull these, but I also used the sticker, and I'll do that after the show's over. I'll grab that. That's across the room in a drawer. But I used that sticker. But for now, I'm just going to pull the little vial out and use it. I'm just going to kind of cut this open. And pull that out like so. What we're going to do, it really needs its little sticker on the front of it. That helps it a lot. So we're going to have that right about there. I want to grab my little key, my little keyhole. I have that one. I don't want to open up another package. I kind of want to use my leftovers here. So let me see what I got. Oh, here's the one I used. This is the one I actually used right here. So, and it was in this package right here. It was actually in this package. My screen's gone dark. So let's use that one. And see, it just becomes a big fat mess. Stuff just goes everywhere. So let's add a little glue just kind of to the right side here. I want to tuck this under here. And I just kind of build from the left to the right. I just kind of move across. Once I get my shape going, I build from the left to the right. Then I just keep my colors moving once I've chosen the flower shapes that I want. So I know I want this here. I knew I wanted this in this area. Also, I have this little tassel. It's the wrong color. So what I'm going to do is reach across you here. Sorry about that. I'm going to grab some tea stain bloom spray, and I'm not sure, Carrie, what these I didn't get the package of tassels out, but this is just one of the packages with all the white and the cream colored ones. So I'm just going to spray it. Can you kind of see what I'm doing here? I'm just kind of spraying that. Wipe up my mess. Kind of got it. Give it a quick dry. Doesn't have to be completely dry because we're actually going to glue it from the metal. So, not worried about it being completely dry. Next thing I want to do is grab these flowers, the roses, the small ones. And love in this set of flowers, I love the little polka dot ones. And let's see, I love the caramely colors. And let's use that kind of caramely colored one there. Let's take this kind of polka dot one here, slide this down just a little bit. Use that one right about there. I think I want this black one kind of over here because I want to kind of move these around too. I want to be sure that I've used a few of these and just kind of moving them around. I want to take kind of this dark one here too and add it maybe right about there. So just kind of moved those around. Lots of those. So let's add a little glue. Then I'm going to go ahead and glue my vial because I know where I'm putting him. I know where I want him. I'm going to kind of add him right here. Kind of under my rose. Rose is going to kind of help hold on to him. And you're going to have plenty of room here beside this flower to put your photo. So just make sure you don't get your flower too far there. Or if your photo was already there, you would be able to tell what you needed as far as space. And it's okay to sort of go into your photo just a little bit. Kind of going to tuck this under. I like to kind of tuck under, and you see what I did? Move scissors. See what I did? I just kind of tucked that under there. And then this black one back here. Add a little extra glue to that. Let's tuck it under our little compass back here. You just kind of want that to peek out there. And then we've got this one here. I'm going to kind of just lay it here. Maybe I'll just kind of tuck it under as well because I want my little airplane to show. So let's tuck that under there as well. Gonna tuck that just about like that. Just about like that. Then we're going to add our metal flower here and our metal leaf. So what I'm going to do is just add some glue. This is like a little charm here. It's got a little opening on it, so I'm going to kind of add it right about there. And then same thing for our metal flower. Fabri-Tac holds all this, so trust me, the Fabri-Tac will hold it down. Fabri-Tac right there. And just give it a minute to dry. Maybe up against, trying to figure out where the best place is to place that leaf. This is going to be a little bit different from our other because this piece is a little bigger than our car, but that's totally okay. That takes that just a minute to dry. That's going to be right about there. Let's grab, let's see. I keep stuff in a little baggie here too. I used our Coke bottles, the little bottle top, and I want to grab, see if I have a small one in here. And I don't think I do. Yeah, I do. Let's grab this small one right here. I want to kind of tuck that in. And that was from these mechanicals here, remember? These mechanicals. So I want to add, actually what I added to the center of that, I don't have my stickers. I added one of the stickers that go on the vials. There's a round one, and I added that to the center. So I'll go back and add that, but let's go ahead and, or you could add a little piece of paper from the collection or just whatever. This just gives it a little bit of metal, a little bit of interest. It's all about shape and color and just kind of making it all work. But you can see how that's kind of coming together now. We kind of got that, the flowers kind of moving around and all that going on. So I want to grab one more of these flat flowers here. Let's grab, let's say this one here, the black one, because I want that black moved around into this area. So let's add a little glue. And the trick to seeing the details and the layers is by tucking it under and around your layers. Just be sure that you're utilizing all your layers. Don't glue everything to the bottom. Glue up into your layers. So got that there. Grab another little rose here because I want to kind of bring this down a little bit more, a little bit longer. to kind of balance this side. So let's pull that down there. Kind of like that. That kind of gives me the feeling of balance to this side. And I'm just kind of letting the cords kind of just land where they do. Kind of like so. The next thing I did was add my alphabet. And what time are we getting? Oh, I'm already over. Carrie, I'm going to probably be another 10 minutes. What I want to do is just show you. I'm not going to add a title because that's going to be a last name and I don't really know whose name I'm going to use. Take your artisan powder. I'm using the clay color and kind of tip it and then open it. Well, that's the black again. Did I get the wrong colors? Hold on. Oh, there's the clay. Sorry, I put the wrong lids on. So let's open that. Okay, grab a paintbrush. Just grab kind of just a dry brush. Go into your color, and this is alphabet number 569792. All you're going to do is just kind of stipple that on there with your paintbrush. Just kind of stipple that on there. And you can do it lighter in some areas, darker, or the same color all over, just however you want to do it. But that is it. And then you can kind of dip it in your black and kind of add a little bit of the black. But that's all that I did. And I'm not going to add that now because I don't know what I'm going to title this yet. But once you've done that, you just kind of want to add your last name. My family's last name was Seymour, and I just kind of staggered the letters with just a little touch of glue behind each one across the page right there. Easy peasy. Okay, now let's just finish up with our flowers and our last few embellishments. All you're going to do is just, this is kind of the balancing act here. Take out a few of these. I just kind of pull them out, lay them away from my page. My centers are kind of rolling away, but you can glue those back down. Just clear this kind of all off so you can just see my page. And I'm going to show you really quick, if you're not completely balanced, how these little flowers can kind of do that. I want to move this caramel color kind of around my page. So just kind of lay these out in a few areas. This lighter beige color. Add another black there to kind of move that around up there. Or let's use kind of a script. Maybe a little bit multicolored one there. Just want to kind of put that maybe there. Let's go ahead and glue down our tassel. Tuck it under to hide your little tassel up under your flower. And so when that dries, that's going to appear to be kind of falling out from under your flower there. And all I'm going to do with these flowers is just kind of balance my color. I want to kind of see what it did. So when I actually do my name, my last name, when I go kind of tuck it in behind there, I'm going to actually add another flower kind of out at the end of it. So we keep that balanced, but I just want to be sure that my color is kind of moving all around and my glue is stringing like crazy. Like I said, my last name, whatever it is, will be here, so that's kind of the reason for that flower there. Let's do just a few more. Kind of tuck this one just under here. Let's do kind of another golden colored one to kind of move that gold color up here. About like that. So you can kind of see. Where I put them. See how they're kind of moving around. Okay, that's it for that. Next, I'm going to grab the brads. What did I do with you brads? Grab some brads. Let's do these brads real quick. I think I'm going to use this one. Cut his legs off. I just clip his legs off. Just clip them right off. I want to add one right about here. And then I also want to add one to the center of my chipboard compass here, just to give that a little bit more detail. Let's cut the legs off of that one. And just be careful they go flying. Don't step on them later. I have done that. Add a little glue behind this one. And this is like the center of a compass inside that compass, which makes that work well. Let's add some glue to the back of this one. I wanted to add it right about here. And I love these little metal pieces here. They're already sticky on the back. So I want to add one. I want to add one right about here. Like that. And then one of the smaller ones. Let's add one of the smaller ones right about here. Kind of balances that out. See how that shape's kind of moving around? I need the shape, and you kind of see you got your stenciling here and how that all kind of works. I want to add one more, I think, to the center of this airplane. I didn't do this before because I didn't actually have the plane there. I had the car, but let's add that right there just for a little detail right there. And then the last thing I did was I just added a few of the Memory Hardware pearls. And you can just kind of add those kind of around. You can replace your pearl centers if you like with the gold. But just kind of place those there. Let's take this piece of metal here. Any round metal that you have will kind of work for this. I just want to kind of lay this in this area right here, just because I want that metal here too. Pop it up on that little piece of chipboard there. Add your pearl to the top of it right there. All about the details. All about the little tiny details. So we got that one. And I'm just kind of adding the gold. Just kind of adding the gold balls here. So you can add the other colors if you like, but I kind of like the gold moving around. So we're going to add this one maybe here. Kind of in a few different places, and I had added them before, but that's okay. Get a smaller one. If you've got small ones and smaller ones and larger ones. So let's add a small one right about here, kind of inside your little fiber area there. And that is it. That is all we are going to do. That's our page. So you can just kind of see it's filled with lots of metals and paper flowers and our fibers, and it's just rich with lots of accents. So that's it, guys. I hope y'all enjoyed this, and please post if you happen to. Oh, one more thing I did is I put a large pearl. I can't forget that. I put a large pearl in the center of my metal flower because that makes it beautiful right there in the center. So but let us know if you recreate any of our projects. Please share with us over on Live with Prima on Facebook. Be sure and join Sharon on Tuesday. And don't forget about your metal date and your title for the last name for this particular page that I will be adding later. So anyway, y'all have a great day, and thank you so much for joining me. See y'all next time. Bye.